Coming up on Mountain News this morning, doctors give some tips on how to take care of yourself if you test positive for COVID. And an Eastern Kentucky arena prepares to ring in the new year while trying to keep folks safe at the same time.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Well, good morning to you again. It's 5:32 on this Friday morning. I'm Dakota Makris, and if you are expecting a calm weekend, well, with your weather, you might just, well, you're not going to get that. Let's head over to Brandon Robinson for a look at that weather this morning. And Brandon, we are continuing our severe weather alert day. Now, you mentioned earlier at 5 o'clock, why did you all issue it so early? Well, it's really just to prepare everyone for what is to come.
Exactly, and severe weather alert days came about after a big incident. I'm sure a lot of folks around here remember the March 2nd tornado outbreak back in 2012, which we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of, by the way. But we're going to be seeing again, giving you time to get ready for an event, not trying to just do it right in the middle of it, but trying to give you time to get ready for it. That's what these severe weather alert days are all about. So this is the time to get ready for that. This morning, though, fairly quiet, foggy in some parts of the region, but in Norton, not too bad. Roads are dry this morning, no major issues. Temperatures a little bit on the cooler side, but we're already up to 40 in Irvine. They were at 39 a while ago, and you see those temperatures starting to increase across our region as that warm air surges in. Your breakfast forecast for today, we are going to continue to see some milder temperatures this morning. It's been a mild trend since basically Christmas Eve. We've been above 60 degrees, and that trend will continue today. 50s this morning, and then back into the upper 60s, maybe pushing 70 in some spots by this afternoon as we see some scattered rain chances pick up a little bit later today. Sunset tonight at 5:25. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you again. Well, some of our communities were faced with devastating flooding in early March. Feet of water surrounded homes and businesses in several counties. Now, there's concern that heavy rains this weekend could cause issues in these same areas. Chad Hedrick has a look at how first responders are preparing to end what started as a challenging year.
In early March, the only way down Main Street in Beattyville was by boat.
Well, it was heart-wrenching. I've just never seen anything quite like it.
Other communities in Powell and Estill counties were just as devastated. Neighbors had to be rescued from their homes by raft.
They came to the house and took us out, took us to the fire station. From there, they put us on a bus and brought us here and boated us across.
It's amazing because I don't remember being this way. I've been here 46 years, and this is the first I've ever seen it this high, this bad.
Now there's concern that 2021 could end with more high water issues. In Lee County, emergency management says they spent Thursday checking their gear and looking at plans for action. After several feet of water flooded downtown Beattyville in early March, more high water hit in June when a state of emergency was declared after rounds of rain washed out roads and brought down trees and power lines in other parts of Lee County. In Estill County, officials say they are monitoring the forecast and preparing to respond, especially the common trouble spots. As for damage left behind in March, they say recovery is moving along and most families are back in their homes, hoping there is not a repeat of those early March days as we start off a new year. Chad Hedrick, WKYT.
Well, emergency management agencies say they urge everyone to check their social media pages for updates on conditions in their communities. Well, Father Jim Shisco has returned to Kentucky with Pope Francis's gifts. He gave his signed basketball from Coach Cal and a bottle of bourbon to the Pope. Well, Father Jim asked the Pope to gift them back so the items can be auctioned off for the Western Kentucky tornado relief. Now, the Father will auction these two items off online.
People can bid for these items for the next 5 days. Once the bidding ends, the people will receive the gifts along with the beautiful photos, and that money then will go directly to the people in Western Kentucky.
Well, if you would like to bid on one of these items, you can look for the story over on WYMT.com. Well, police are warning about a scam attempt over in Magoffin County. Police say that a caller says that a family member is arrested in another state. The caller then gives a false reference number and tells the caller they will call back with further details. Now, police want to remind you to never give money or financial information to anyone who calls you. While the pandemic has caused significant staffing shortages, in the beginning, many organizations were not prepared with all of the quarantines. Now, with the newest increase in cases, First responders in Georgetown and Richmond are making sure they can staff all departments. City officials are trying to get creative on how to keep the city staffed.
For example, those in public works each knew the other's job. In finance department, for example, enough persons knew all of the jobs that were actually handled by the department that folks could just step right in and keep the work moving.
Well, Georgetown's mayor says they learned a lot since March of 2020 when citywide staffing levels were stressed. Well, we're just hours from New Year celebrations. More folks are getting tested for COVID-19. Many of them inside of their own houses. At-home COVID tests are flying off of the shelves and have become unavailable in several stores. This as more people are seeing positive test results. Doctors say that those with mild symptoms can use fever reducers and should stay hydrated.
A lot of this you're going to treat like any other viral infection, especially in children. When children have a fever, it really increases their water requirement dramatically.
Doctors say to keep airflow going throughout your home and stay away from others for 5 days and until your symptoms are gone. New Year's Eve is here and folks across the nation and here in the mountains are preparing to celebrate. The Appalachian Wireless Arena is preparing for its New Year's Eve celebration, setting up a stage, dance floor, and plenty of seats to welcome in hundreds of partygoers to celebrate the new year with fun, drinks, and music. Although fun is on the agenda for tonight, safety is also a concern with Omicron variant becoming more prevalent. Doctors suggest the typical masking and social distancing, and venue staff and officials are doing all they can to keep their guests safe.
And that's something that we're doing our best with, you know, with following the state guidelines and looking and working with the local health department, things like that. We're trying our best to keep everyone safe, and I think we've done a really good job of it. I think that our staff has went above and beyond, and I think that all we can do right now is strive to make it the best that we possibly can.
Well, Pikeville Medical Center's Dr. Fadi Alacross advises that if you do plan to attend, to be careful and wear a mask, especially if you or a loved one are immunocompromised or unvaccinated. A Kentucky man got creative after canceling his holiday trip to Times Square. Gary Gammon and his friends decided not to go watch the ball drop in New York City this weekend because of increasing COVID cases, but they still wanted to celebrate, so they decided to build a ball of their own.
I started thinking, I was like, you know, this is not going to be that hard. We can build this ball. And we just thought, well, we'd grab a bunch of PVC and start making circles and interline them and tie them together. And before you know it, we have the ball that's 6 feet in diameter.
Well, the final product has 3,500 lights. A plumbing company in Franklin donated some of the materials. Well, just ahead this morning, a famous actor is stepping out of a beloved action franchise for good. Find out who it is when we come back.
Rain to possible severe storms to snow. That's how we're going to wrap up this year and start the new one. I'll track out your New Year's weekend in about 3 minutes.